morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. How are you all doing today? How are you doing today? I'm doing wonderful. I have my coffee. First sips of the morning. Mm, it's extra hot today. I did something new, and that's okay. It's okay. All right. Evelyn is here. Good morning. If I can get my mouse to cooperate. Evelyn is here. Good morning, Evelyn. She says, "Good morning, beautiful keto people." Uncle Big Guy is here. He says, "Good morning, all. Good morning, Dustin." That's me. Stacy is saying, "Wake up." I've been awake since 6. Well, I've been awake actually for most of the night. I was awake like 3 o'clock this morning. I don't know, just kind of awake. Didn't really go back to sleep. Tried to, laid there, toss turned. You know the drill. You know the drill. Matt Franklin is here. Good morning, sir. Thank you for bringing the Disney magic. I appreciate you very much, sir. Christian Delorme. Bonjour, bonjour, bonjour. Speaking of French, what about the opening of the games? Gojira playing at an ex-prison with fire and blood. It was amazing. And I don't know if you haven't checked it out yet, but Gojira is one amazing metal band. They are the first metal band to play at an opening ceremony. Yeah. Celine Dion, ma. She played at the Eiffel Tower. No one cares. Gojira played at a prison. It was amazing. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Good morning. We got Uncle Big Guys here. Stacy, Evelyn. We've got Christian Delorme, Matt Franklin, John Gugahan. Hello, Sunday morning peoples. Sean is in the house. Good morning, Sean. So glad to see you. All righty. Who else do we have here? We have Andy is here. Good morning. She says, finishing up my walk, but I'm listening. Missed you yesterday at Janie's meetup. I, strangely enough, totally spaced the fact that I had an obligation to watch our granddaughter while my daughter and her boyfriend went out for his birthday to Fogo de Chao. So they went to an all-you-can-eat Brazilian steakhouse while I stayed home with a 5-year-old. And we watched this movie called The Descendants, which is a Disney Plus movie. There's a bunch of them. There's like maybe 4 or 5 of them. They're called The Descendants. This one is called The Rise of Red. Red, which is the daughter of the Queen of Hearts. And her and Cinderella's daughter go back in time. Yeah. We watched it like 4 times yesterday. Woo! I bet you wish you were me. Shelly King's in the house. Good morning, Shelly. Let's see what we've got here. We've got Carl is in the house. Jeff Foltz is here. Good morning, Mr. Foltz. I have not really watched much of the Olympics. The only thing I've seen thus far is the amazing performance by Gojira. Now, if you're not familiar, Gojira is a French metal band. Initially, they started their life as Godzilla, but they were not able to keep that name, so they just went with what Godzilla sounds like in the movies, which is Gojira. And I have seen them 3 or 4 times. I've seen them open up for Opeth. I've seen them open for the Deftones, and I've seen them open up for Behemoth. They're so good. So good. Let's see. Shelly says she did the same thing, wake at 3 a.m., gave up trying. I was awake and I was trying not to wake up Shander because she's asleep next to me. And I was playing an online poker game in the middle of the night. And yeah. So what's going on, everybody? Oh, it would be great if it wasn't all choreographed and everybody was dancing and singing and doing all that stuff. You might like it. It's not bad, but to me, it was just too much. It was like she's running around like Red is the Queen of Hearts daughter. She's running around like this place trying to evade the guards, but she's singing the whole time. And I was singing to the granddaughter, she's not being very quiet to sneak around the guards if she's singing and dancing along the way. And she goes, "Oh, you're right." Oh, oh yeah, yeah. We've watched a few of them this week. Yeah. Let's see. They played at BRRF one year. They put on a great show. Yeah, they're amazing. Mr. Gugahan has been awake since 3, all wide-eyed, bright-eyed, and bushy-tailed. All right. It is Sunday again. I have my coffee here. This is a lot of espresso, some hot water, and a tablespoon of like baker's chocolate. Mm, mm, mm. So good. Oh, I'm itchy. We went to the pool a bunch this week, and I'm itchy. The sun made me itchy. So how is everybody doing? I have not really been paying that much attention to the Olympics that just started a couple days ago. My grandmother's 92nd birthday just passed, so she passed away 2 years ago. But we went out Thursday to see Deadpool and Wolverine. I will not put any spoilers in this if anybody is planning to go see Deadpool and Wolverine. Um, it was an amazing movie. It was more than I anticipated it. It was better than I anticipated it being. I knew it was going to be good, but I didn't know it was going to be that good. A lot of awesome cameos, a lot of Easter eggs, a lot of cool things to watch out for. I do want to watch it again. Probably will wait for it to come to streaming because I am not paying that much money to go back to the theater to see the same movie again. I'm not a teenager anymore and I can't afford it. So, yeah, we went to B Dubs afterwards, and we did celebrate my grandmother's birthday with Shannon and I shared like a small margarita, and because my grandma was a huge fan of margaritas. Her last birthday, but she passed away a week after her birthday. But on her birthday, her 90th birthday, we went in to visit her at the nursing facility, and we brought in a bottle of margarita mix and poured her a margarita. She had a teeny tiny little sip. She goes, "Ooh, I'm sure feeling it." I miss her so much, but she was awesome. So let's see. John is walking and listening. Evelyn says that her alarm goes off. Alarm to wake up will go off at 8:30. I'm up early. Well, I'm glad you're here hanging out with moi. Very glad. John says he's halfway through a second large cup. Is it as big as this? Because if it's not, you need to catch up. Of course, I'm just now starting, so you know. Mm. Matt says just starting back to work after days off. Sarah had carpal tunnel surgery on Thursday. Took time to help her while she recovers. Well, it's very nice. Like I said, my mom had that surgery years and years and years ago, like in the late 80s, I want to say. And it was a completely different surgery set then, but took her a long time. I don't even know why she had it. She didn't ever type or I don't know. I mean, I have no idea why she had carpal tunnel. But anyway, yeah, I hope that she's feeling good. Give her my love. Sean said it's a fantastic movie. Thinking about going again. I want to go see it again too. Evelyn says, went to the meetup yesterday. First time at a steakhouse like that, celebrating 5 years. Five, count them, 5 years keto tomorrow. So much fun. Yes. John says, also had some bacon and eggs earlier this morning. I usually don't eat breakfast, but was hungry this morning. So delicious. I feel that. Andy says, my alarm is set for 5:30 every day. I don't have any alarms set right now. I have some afternoon alarms for things, but not in the morning. We get up in the morning at now we've been getting up at 6 every day. And he says my walking is more efficient when it's the first thing I do in the morning. Well, yeah. Happy keto versary, Evelyn. And Stacy says, been up long enough for one coffee and a 15-minute shake on the Life Pro. Ken's back in bed. We pushed our limits yesterday. Well, let the man rest. I mean, not only does he put up with you, Stacy, he's also pretty awesome. Well, I hope he's feeling okay. I hope you guys are back on the mend and doing all kinds of fun stuff. Matt says that Sarah is doing pretty good, has a big bruise on her hand. I did see pictures of that from the surgery, but no longer has pain or numbness. Well, that's good. That is wonderful. There we go. All right. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Trying to think what else we did this week. The kids were over last night for a little while. I mean, as I said, I did have the granddaughter until they got home from their Fogo de Chao dinner. Then they hung out till about 11. And then we basically got to bed about midnight. Because after they leave, Shander had to get ready to shower, get out of the shower, get her brushed, do all the stuff, get ready for bed. Then we kind of, you get in bed and you got to get ready for sleep. And then we turn the lights off and we were in bed and sleeping and trying to do the things. And then I woke up at like 1:30 and then at like 3. And basically when I woke up at 3, I was kind of awake for the rest of the night, but not, kind of not really, but, a little bit here and there, tossing and turning kind of thing. I have been taking magnesium before bed. Maybe I should start upping that and taking it a few hours before bed, but it's easy to remember because we keep it in the bathroom in our bedroom, and I'm not usually up there unless it's bedtime. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm not even sure what a Life Pro is. What do you think about the Life Pro? I'm considering getting one. I am curious. When in Columbus, we did the book loft. Have you been there? If you love books, you'd love it. I haven't done a whole lot in Columbus. I think we were at some club years and years ago. A friend of mine's band was playing. I don't that I very, very, very limited Columbus experience, mostly just the meetups. Was up and down all night with a sick puppy. Oh, that's so terrible. Oh, I hope the puppy's feeling better soon. Welcome, by the way, Mr. Beach. I hope you are doing well, besides being a little tired. It's supposed to be rainy and stormy all day here, so who knows how much I'll get done today. I probably end up napping. Ah. Yes. Let's see. Matt says going to Keto Orlando Summit this week. Looking forward to my first conference. I have not yet been to that one. I would like to go to those, but I mean, obviously Orlando's pretty far away for us, and I'd like to make it to Orlando in time before the drones get done. I mean, I know they'll probably bring them back, but one never does know. But yeah, I do want to go. I know that stops in like September, so we probably won't be able to make it before got like a full month. Yeah, I know. I'm jelly too. I know, like Partners in Ketosis, they're going to be there. Whole bunch of people are going to be there. The two crazies of ketos will be there. Stacy says I like it. My neuropathy is better, and I'm not using it as much as I could. I'm gonna post on my affiliate link on my Facebook today. Oh yeah. Where's our gentleman from Tampa? He could be going to Orlando. That's not far, like an hour and a half drive for him. And Rick is in Miami. Rick could drive up to Orlando. But Indiana to Orlando is like 16 hours. KPL was my first No, wait, no, I take that back. Low Carb for Better Health in Tennessee was my first conference, but it was a small little like 1-day thing, and it was very small. Like I mean, there was like a little like a hallway that had some vendors in it, maybe 5 vendors, 6 vendors, and then like 6 speakers, and that was basically the entirety of the day. We did break for lunch. They didn't plan on what was the reality. They had made a lot more like the vegetable stuff. So there was some like my memory is correct. There was some kind of like cauliflower rice stuff and some onions and stuff, but then they had like bacon and eggs, and everybody devoured the bacon and eggs within like 4 or 5 people, and then it just took like a half an hour. So most of the lunch was spent waiting for them to bring more food out. I was thinking about getting a Life Pro for my neuropathy. Thank you for sharing about how well it's working. Let's see. Matt says Keto Orlando is a great conference. My wife went last year, and I regret that I didn't go. As you should, Matt. As you should. I don't know. I think I'm getting to the point where I need to trim my mustache. That's terrifying. I need to trim it. I need to trim it, you know. Let's see. Canada Toll sent us a bill for the toll roads we apparently didn't pay. $15.30 isn't bad as well, and we traveled over 500 kilometers. That's not bad. I don't think anybody pays tolls like Dallas pays tolls. Like, and I don't know like what the average thing is, but I know like people could spend thousands of dollars in Dallas on the toll roads, which is funny because the last time I was down there, I rented a car and paid for the toll package. So if I went through any tolls, I didn't have to pay for it. But then my GPS on my phone, which I used to get around, was set to avoid tolls, so I never hit any tolls. What are you gonna do? Stacy says her first conference was the PhD summit in Nashville in the fall of 2022. That's basically kind of what Hack Your Health was, at least, or not Hack Your Health, Low Carb for Better Health. It was kind of like that because I mean, Dr. Barry and Nisha were both there. Yeah. Coffee is brewing, says Evelyn. Florida going to the airport has a toll. Yeah, New York is pretty bad because it's like I don't know, like $15 a toll or something like that every time you go through. That's crazy. And now they're talking about charging people just to come into the city. Ridiculous. You can get around Orlando without paying tolls. It just takes a bit longer to get where you are going. Yeah, we only went on the toll road. Well, I take that back. When we went from Orlando out to Cape Canaveral area, like the Cocoa Beach area, we paid tolls and like, yeah. I don't know if we ever actually paid those tolls or not. I don't know. Show says we don't have any tolls in Oregon yet. They're talking about putting one in just north of me by Portland. Indiana has toll like a toll road across the top. I-80 is a toll road. But it's not like one that's like basically you when you get on, you get a ticket, and then when you get off, you pay the toll. It's not like when you're going through Illinois up to Wisconsin where you're like stuck every 2 miles or every mile you're hitting a toll booth. It's ridiculous. The puppy Duke, he's really sick. If he doesn't act better today, we need to run him to the vet. Well, keep us posted. Hopefully he is not doing bad later today. Maybe he got into something he shouldn't have, probably. I don't know. I don't know anything about dogs. I've never actually had a dog of my own. Yeah, but I think that most of the toll roads are owned by other countries, and they're supposedly installed to take care of things, but then like once that's taken care of, like once the road is built, then like they never remove it. So it's like it's just a perpetual thing. It's silly. Sean says Virginia has tolls up close to DC and in Richmond, but they aren't anywhere. Yeah, like we only have just the one toll road, I believe, which is 8090, which is well 90 or 80 across the very top. But like it goes from like Detroit all the way through across the top of Indiana into Chicago. because it'll take you across the toll bridge, the big toll bridge, which is like, I don't know, ridiculous amount of money to go across a bridge. And it's not even really a bridge. I don't even know why it's there. It's just so expensive. I don't understand. And Evelyn says she's sorry, Danny. Hoping nothing serious. Hope you get some rest. And Stacy is talking to Shelly saying, where are you in Oregon? We used to live in Gresham and Troutdale. My have family there, beautiful state. Low carb spin is here. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Mm. Yeah. Yep. Oh. So one thing that I wanted to talk about is like basically the kind of the title of this live as a guide in the gloom. Really is I just see so much negativity, and we've talked about this before. So much negativity coming in and out of the community, whether it's negativity from one group of the community towards another, whether it's ketovore, carnivore, whatever. People like saying, this isn't real. You should do this. And this is how it really should be, and just the negativity that kind of surrounds it. And as well as even the negativity surrounding people in the community towards people who aren't in the community and such. And I just think that there is a lot that can be fixed because I think the more we act and behave that way, the less likely we are going to have people come to us. Granted, you're always going to have maybe more engagement with the negative, but it's not necessarily the engagement that's going to cause people to take a look at you and see what you're doing and decide for themselves, you know what? I'm going to give that a try. It's always people more the negative side of things where they're saying, well, you're just going to do this. And I don't know why you're doing that. And the doctor said that, it's just more negativity. And I think being like, kind of like a guide here in the gloominess of it all, like, because I know where I came from, helpless and hopeless and just lost, looking for answers, looking for a path. And I think that that's what we can always do better to be. Whether we're creators, people in the chats, people that are interacting, people that are involved in the engagement, people that are replying to things, even memes and such. If, whenever we see something, we can't always be like clutching our pearls and upset about things. We just need to be mindful of what's the most beneficial things we could be doing to help others who aren't where they need to be yet. And I just think that's just one of those things like, yeah, I just worry about everything and I just want to help as many people as we can. And I think the more positive and more inviting and the more honest I think we are. And that means being honest with yourself, honest with others, and just, I don't know. It's just one of those things that I worry about the most. Danny says he can't do a long mustache. It gets on my nerves from time to time, but I just think like it hides things and I like it. And Sean is saying basically 80-90, the toll road traveling up to the Great Lakes is the longest, most boring road. Especially like I remember we were going from Cleveland. We had gone to Cleveland. We'd driven from Indy up to Cleveland to see like Hate Breed and Kill Switch Engage, Sworn Enemy, and a bunch of bands early in the 2000s, like 2004, something like that. And then we had the next night we had a show. We had been invited by a band that was doing a CD release show or was playing a show or something at the House of Blues. So we had to go from Detroit to Chicago. And basically, as soon as we got done with the show, like 11, 12 o'clock at night, we hit the highway and we're going across 80, going across the top of Indiana into Chicago. And it was like so boring. And I mean, because you're just seeing like those, those concrete sound walls on the highway. There's nowhere to even get off. I mean, you can kind of pull off of the highway. They have like gas stations and stuff, but you can't get off the tollway. And it was only compounded by the fact that my buddy was like, you know what? I don't fall asleep, but I'm only going to listen to The Cure all the way there. I'm like, and he like poked me and stuff. It was not nice. It was not nice. I used to be lost in my old life. My perfect trifecta came in line in May 2021. Life continues to get better. Yeah. And I think just being able to share our experiences and hopefully, these things like Sunday mornings and Tuesday evenings and the videos hopefully that I make will hopefully bring more people in and we can grow and promote all of the channels that are so positive where, you know, like Chris Cook in Nashville and all these people that are so positive and welcoming and like Neely and all of the creators that are so positive. We need to promote them the most and work and strive to be as positive as we can because it's what low carb spin says here. It's so confusing for any beginner. We just have to share the best tips of what work for us. Community is the answer. I mean, that's the thing is like what works for me, what has worked for me over the past may not work for you. But with that being said, just because something that I'm doing doesn't work for me doesn't mean the entire concept isn't right for you. So basically, whole foods, meat, eggs, vegetables, cheese. And I get, that's where like the carnivore people, oh, plants are trying to kill you. Maybe, maybe. But what's going to make someone the most sustainable? Pure carnivore is going to be probably the least likely to be the most sustainable at this current juncture of civilization. Whether or not it's the healthiest doesn't mean a whole hill of beans if people can't do it, if people don't want to do it. So, having meat and eggs and cheese and spices and broccoli and Brussels sprouts and maybe some onions and mixing in cream and having some diet soda from time to time because you're not going to get millions and millions or hundreds of millions of people to switch from eating whatever they want to realistically, from the outside looking in, our lifestyle is, for all intents and purposes, very restrictive. Once you're in it, it doesn't seem restrictive at all because what you want to eat versus all the things that are options, what you want changes. But if you're somebody who's on the outside looking in, you're on the outside with the grocery store looking into the little window that's like, some hamburgers, some steak, some chicken, maybe some bacon and eggs and some veggies. And you're just like, well, that's it. I can't have, where's my mac and cheese? Where's my tater tots? Where's my French fries? Where's my milkshake? There's a lot there. There's a lot to unpack. That's just one of those things like we have to understand in order to gain the most traction, we can't have all the infighting. We can't be so nitpicky within the community, especially if we're trying to draw in people who don't even know they want to be here in the first place. I don't know. And John says, in today's environment, it's so refreshing to be a part of communities that are not so polarized with that we versus them attitude. And it's everywhere. It's everywhere. And I try to remain neutral in a lot of things here because this community revolves around us being healthy. Full stop. Whatever us being healthy looks like individually. Because what I do for my individual self to be healthy is going to be different than all of you may be doing. We all may be doing in the same realm, proper human diet, keto, carnivore, whatever. We're all doing what we need to do to be healthy, and we're looking out for each other. But we across the board divided 100 different ways. So it stands to reason that that type of mentality finds its way to this community. We just have to resist that the best way we can, but in a positive way. Sean says, I just finished writing my story. I'd like to share to anyone who would like to read it. At the end of it, I list the keto channels I subscribe to. I hope the YouTubers here don't mind me listing them. If I'm on the list, and I'm going to say, I would never be so presumptuous, but I do not mind. And I think that that's one of those things that is so important because we didn't get here alone. I'm not an island. And that's why whenever I tell my story, when I go on a live of another channel, I start telling my story. I mean, there was a nugget of things from my general practitioner at the time. He mentioned ketosis. He didn't elaborate. I then found two keto dudes, and then from there I found Jimmy Moore, and I found, like at the time that's who was around. And you start finding who's available. I found Goody Beats, and then I found two crazy ketos, and Keto Connect, and there was a few, and it just grew and grew and grew to where we are now, where there's so many you can't even name a tenth of them. But we've all come from a place, and we all have our inspirations. So let me see. Matt says, Sean, he would love to read your story, and as I would like to read that too. So if you want to email it to me, my email, send it on, and I will read it as I get a chance. And Low Carb Spin says, sometimes you hear the same info, but the new delivery just makes it click and you have that aha moment. Exactly. Like, and I go in and I see, and I sit in on lives and I watch lives and I see people, and I'm not putting anybody down, and I don't name names if I don't necessarily agree with the delivery, because just because I don't agree with that delivery doesn't mean that delivery is not going to connect with somebody else. But I think we get into a point where we're pushing things that may not be beneficial on the whole. We are very minutia, and rightfully so, because a lot of us have been digging and digging and digging down through our own rabbit holes, trying to find out what works best for us individually. That when we do talk, those are those are the talking points we have. And I know that there's a lot of coaches and a lot of people out there that put these lives on and they're talking, well, you can't be successful if you don't do this. And I think that sometimes it comes off pretty smug. And it comes off like gatekeepy. And I see, and there's hatred for a lot of like a lot, and rightfully so. We should be very, very in tune with the ingredients. But I think that the more ingredients and the more things we have listed keto or whatever, low carb on the market, may be enticing for those who were not maybe gonna give it a shot at all. So, do I think at where I'm at that those products are beneficial to me personally? On the whole, no. Sometimes do I use them? Of course. Will they be a gateway to somebody coming off of the enormity that is the standard American diet, and they may start narrowing things down and cutting back sugars and going for the keto products? Yeah. Can that be helpful? 100%. It's kind of like going from, regular beer to non-alcoholic beer. Is that going to be a permanent fix? Maybe. I have a friend that's been sober for 5+ years, and he still buys and drinks like the non-alcoholic vodkas and whiskeys and stuff, which to me, I'm not quite sure why. They were never tasty enough to be like without the benefit of kind of like what alcohol does. But I mean, but that works for him. So while I may be there questioning, well, why? That doesn't sound right for me. And that's fine, but it works for him. So when we're in a situation where somebody's coming into one of our groups or coming into a chat or coming in something and they're showing, I found this awesome bread that I want, and I've been making sandwiches and it's been keeping me on track. And we go, you shouldn't use that bread. What does that do? That makes them feel like they're not doing what's best for them at that moment. In reality, they're doing a lot better than they had been. And I think we need to try our best to keep that in mind. It's like when I see carnivore people chastising other carnivores for using pepper or garlic powder or whatever. That's a plant. That's not carnivore. Oh, well. What keeps you on track? What keeps you moving forward? What keeps that left foot going in front of your right foot and then just keeps going? What, was that some hot dogs with some of those carb cutter hot dog buns? We know that's not the best. It's got wheat in it. It's got vegetable oil in it. It's not the best, but is it a start? 1000% it's a start. Carl says, yesterday at Texas Day, Brazil, I found out how easy eating keto carnivore is. Fresh, whole, yummy, fatty meats with a touch of whole vegetables. Eat until uncomfortably stuffed, wait, and repeat. I mean, that's why our kids were leaving to go to Fogo de Chao yesterday or last night. And I was like, leave the salad bar alone. Leave the sides alone. Stacy says, yes, I came up with Stacy Keto by taking information from lots of influences and trial and error, and I continue to fine tune myself. I have a friend from high school who has been in contact with me, and he's trying to start a ketogenic lifestyle, but he's kind of in a rough spot where he can't really afford to start things, and he just kind of has to eat what he's got in the house. And his house full of everything before he started keto. And I was like, you know what? You have to do what you have to do. You're going to learn to make the best choices with what you have. And I think realistically, that's what we have to do. And I imagine if we were to go through his cabinets, it would probably be a nightmare for us. But he's in a spot where he is unable to go to the grocery right now. He just has to eat what he already has. But I was at the grocery store yesterday, and Kroger right now, at least the Kroger in my area, has a deal: buy one get one free Oscar Mayer hot dogs. Now, are they the best hot dogs on the market? Nope, but I think they're in the top third. I mean, they're uncured, so to speak. I think they say uncured on them still. At least they did at one point. They're like 1 carb a hot dog. So if you eat a pound of hot dogs, that's 10 carbs, 10 total carbs. But they were on sale, buy one get one free. And so they were basically $3.29 for 2 pounds of hot dogs. Now, if you're somebody struggling to make ends meet, that's a pound of hot dogs for like $1.75, give or take, right? $1.80, $1.90, sub $2. Now, there was a point in time where you could have got ground beef for that price, maybe less than that, $1.89 a pound, 10 pounds, 20, $30. But that's just not where we're at right now. So, we're not even in a place where lunch meat's really that affordable. Lunch meat's more expensive than hamburger. Bologna is probably on par with hamburger. But somebody who's just starting out, trying to figure things out, trying to work within a really tight budget because they're kind of in between jobs, they're like ending one job and going to be starting another one. How do you make do? Eggs, hot dogs? Because I mean, depending on where I go, like one Walmart, it has eggs for $13 for 5 dozen, and the other one I think it's $7.50. But they're kind of like while they're equidistant from my house. If I go to one and it's $13, then I got to drive that whole distance back again to save $5. Is that worth it? I mean, maybe, but I was already at that one, so $13. I mean, it's not the best. It's not a deal, but I need eggs. Thank you, John. See, I love this. Low carb spin saying she loves your name, Stacy. Easy peasy keto. That's what I want to see. Positivity, just making friends. Matt says, we went to Texas Day, Brazil this past Wednesday. I agree 100% about how good the food is there. You. Sean says, that's why I love saying that n equals 1. Everyone is different. You have to find what works for you. Also, no one is perfect. That's the thing. And I get like, and I've had so much pushback in different times where I'm like, no one's perfect. If you break apart a month, so you break apart your progress and you want to look at your consistency over the course of a month. Say a month is 30 days, and you're a person who does 2 meals a day. And you have 2 off-plan meals, or you slip up and have 2 off-plan meals. So out of 60 meals, 60, you have 58 on-plan consistent meals. Now, are you going to beat yourself up over that and quit altogether because of that? No. That's actually something that I would be extremely proud of. Now, do you want to work towards next month having, 59 out of 60 or 60 out of 60? Sure. But if you don't reach that and you beat yourself up and give up, where are you? And I know that we are in a community where most of us talk about the idea that perfection isn't possible, but that seems to be the kind of what is sold to everybody. And when you have a lot of people out there saying, I never have cheat days, I've never once cheated at all. Okay. I'll take you at your word, but I have. I make a lot of mistakes. That's just who I am. I'm a person that makes mistakes. I'm a human being. And Matt says, keto isn't one size fits all. We all have to do what works for each of us. And what works for me may not work for you 100%. And not everybody has the same financial stability. Not everybody has the same mental stability. Not everybody has the same tastes. There's going to be people out there who don't want to eat beef. They just don't like the taste of beef. And they're just going to focus on chicken, or so they're going to focus on pork or lamb or whatever they can, and I know that we get people, you should be buying grass fed, grass finished, and go to a local farm and get a whole cow. Well, not everybody has the room for 3 freezers to fit a cow in their house. People live in apartments. People live in, small efficiency homes where they don't have a garage or whatever the case is. Like my brother doesn't even have a refrigerator right now. And it drives me up a wall because he spends money on his car audio for competitions and such, but he doesn't have a fridge. It drives me crazy. And then he's like, I'm living off of ramen, knowing what keto can do for him. And it breaks my heart. But what can you do? Thank you very much. Let's see. Stacy says, we went to that sort of restaurant at KPL last year. We'll go for meetups, etc., but wouldn't go for a meal. For us, it's too expensive for the small amount we eat. We needed to go box. Yeah, that's the thing is like, I think it's kind of neat every once in a while. Like we haven't been in a few years. I think the last time we went, we weren't even keto yet. So we went basically on a taste of Indy because we live in Indianapolis, central Indiana. And it was like $35 for dinner per person. instead of it's like normally $70 or whatever. And it was okay, but it wasn't something that we had to go back for. But I mean, I think more. Well, I'm gonna go for KPL Thursday night. The Thursday night of KPL will go. United Carnivore is here. I was talking about you earlier, talking about you're in Tampa and there is Keto Orlando happening this coming week. I was wondering if you were going to be there. I will not be, unfortunately, because I don't live anywhere near Orlando. I am very, very far from Orlando. Low carb Spence's baby steps away from sad diet. It's a win any way you look at it. That's my way of thinking, you know. And I was telling my friend, I was saying, certain you have to look at yourself and you have to understand yourself. Are you a person where baby steps are going to work? Where you're cutting out, like, or do you need to cut out soda at first and then cut out like sugars, not putting sugar in your coffee or whatever, whatever your daily life is. And then you start working towards cutting out grains and pastas and such. And you start like methodically kind of deconstructing your diet and then rebuilding it the way you want to? Or are you a kind of person that needs to just rip off the band-aid and go whole hog from jump? Because we went through and cleaned our house out. We got rid of, I've said, I said something on a live stream. I was like, I felt bad about giving away our margarine. And people were like, well, why would you feel bad about? I'm like, I wish I would have thrown it away. I wish I didn't give it away. I wish we would have thrown it away. Not that I wanted to keep it, but the fact that we gave it to someone else, knowing the reasons why we were getting rid of it, but they weren't too they weren't really they didn't care. They used margarine and they didn't care. So they were happy to have it. So, I mean, I grew up poor and throwing away food is just something that we just never did. We just didn't have a lot of food. It was weird because the other day I was walking through the frozen food section, like the frozen dinner section of the grocery store, and I was looking at the Encore meals. Those meals are crazy. They're like $4. I think they're under $4. They have I can't remember when I was a kid, we would have the lasagna one, we would have the chicken parm one, and we would get the sometimes we'd have the roast turkey one, and then we would also get the Salisbury steak one. But whatever ones we had gravy in it, we would have the instant mashed potatoes to go with it. So you're talking about $3 and it would feed 3 people. So basically, my brother, my mom, and I would basically eat dinner for $1, give or take. Because I'm sure they were cheaper back in the 80s or 90s. Because if they're $3 now, or it's like 3.29, 3.99 now, they're like sub $4. They had to have been ridiculously cheap back then. But I kind of saw those and I hadn't even thought about them in a long time, and kind of made me teary eyed a little bit thinking about dinners with my mom and my brother when we were kids, Just that's just I'm a very nostalgic, I don't forget things very easily when it comes to memories and people. I still think about people that I haven't seen or heard from in 20 years and wonder what they're doing, you know? I'm a weird person like that. So Matt says, I feel the same way. Our daughter is slowly making shifts away from sad. Every baby step is an improvement. And the thing is you guys are leading by example. So they're going to see what you're doing and they're going to see continued improvement and how well your life is becoming. And they're going to want to do that too. So, and I'm sorry, low carb spin, what is your actual name if you don't mind me having it? I don't remember. I'm sorry. Says you have to make them feel that every change counts because in the end it does. I mean, like removing seed oils, added sugars, wheat, processed food, that's going to make a huge difference whether or not they're keto or not. And Matt says 58 out of 60 is 97%. That's a darn good. That's my thing. And if you're and if somebody's going to be like beating themselves up over it, even if they're 50 out of 60, That's still a huge improvement out of 0 out of 60. We would eat terrible 4 times a day all the time, just snack, 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 eat, eat, eat all the time. That's just my thing. Evelyn says, "My kids who were mostly sad went and bought their own pop at the store. Jubilee bought 0 brand pops, and when asked why, she said, 'Well, I still eat bread, but I don't want to drink my calories, carbs.'" Yeah. And Sean says, "For anybody that says that they haven't had a cheat meal, I say good for you." Well, that's how I look at it because I've had inadvertent cheat meals that I didn't even mean to have. And I have to, I even made a short about Sonic. When you go to Sonic and you order a sugar-free slushy, the added syrup flavor you're getting is the only thing that's sugar-free in it. The slush base is actually basically just frozen sugar water. So we had that and we had a couple of sips of it. We could have finished it, but we didn't. They were good. They were almost like too good. I was like, this has got to have sugar in it. And we found out they obviously do. But that's the thing is like, you want to set yourself up for success. How best can you set yourself up for success? You just got to get to know yourself. And by really getting to know yourself, you have to take a good long look at your weaknesses, your strengths, and apply those strengths to those weaknesses because that's all we really have. We have each other, but no matter what, you guys aren't there with me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, helping me make every choice that I have. I'm there. I'm always there. I'm the one making my choices. Do I make 100% perfect choices? No. The girl left, so the girl came over and they brought some snacks, and she brought some like peanut butter filled pretzels and some of those little like the orange cheddar crackers with a peanut butter in the middle. I may or may not have had those when she left today or whenever they left last night. I ate them today. Am I proud of it? No. They actually tasted kind of good, but I'm being honest and transparent about it. Thank you. I have to do easy. I never weigh food, count macros, don't bring carby foods to our table, or carbs or seasoning and fresh veggies from our garden. And that's the thing, like just make it easy for you. As easy as I can make things for me and Chandra, and it makes it easier to stay on track. The less I have to think or worry about it, the better it is for me. Matt says our youngest daughter is the same way. She only drinks 0 drinks now, baby steps. Christy is here. Hello, meeting wellness. It says that is why I used to drink diet sodas because I wanted to eat my carbs and calories instead of drinking them. I still drink diet sodas from time to time. I just like soda. What are you gonna do? Avila says, yeah, Evelyn. Evelyn. Yes, I see you are understanding the choices and thinking about it, but there are nowhere near metabolically unhealthy like me. They have their whole lives to get and stay healthy. That's the thing is, you know, they're going to hopefully realize that if they start to feel bad, then they know what choices they need to make. Chris Cook in Nashville is here. Hello, my brother Dustin and all his friends. Popping to say hello before birthday festivities today. Is today your birthday, Chris? Happy birthday, Chris. I hope it's your birthday because birthdays are fun. What do you have planned today for your festivities? Hopefully, some good, fun stuff. Everybody's saying hello to Chris. Chris saying hello, good morning, folks. Did I miss Cindy? Did she show up and I missed it? Or what's going on here? Let's see. Maybe she just mentioned her. Okay. Christy says, my husband has started to take carbs out of his diet. He's down to under 100 carbs per day, but really under 50 most days. He's feeling better already about a week and a half. That's the thing is, some people don't necessarily have to remove all of their carbs. I mean, there's some people who just never quite got metabolically unhealthy, and I'm not speaking for your husband here, but more in general, but people will do 50 carbs. I mean, even like Professor Noakes says, under 50 carbs, 50 total carbs, you know? Well, thank you, Karen. All right. Low carb spin is Karen. All right. I'm going to do my best to remember that. It takes me a while, so I may ask you again, so please forgive me if I do. Scott is here. Good morning, Scott. I am so glad you're here. John is heading to church. Great live. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Have a wonderful Sunday and be safe. And we'll see you next time, buddy. Snacks always seem dumb to me. Just eat some food. I mean, sometimes like a beef stick or some, purse bacon or whatever. I don't know. I mean, even people like travelers and stuff carried snacks, pemmican and whatever they had, things that would travel well. So I mean, it's not new. It's just the type of snacks have changed. Where we would have, dried meats, dried berries, dried fruits and such to travel back in the yonder days, turned into Snickers bars and cans of soda and bags of chips. So snacking isn't necessarily new to human civilization. It's the type of snacks. But anyway, I'm glad you're here, Rick. Let's see. Let's see. Rick is asking Christy if there's any heart attack chicken. I think there's something I'm missing there. Just took some chicken out to unthaw, so you're gonna freeze it. Heart attack chicken coming up. So if you're gonna unthaw the chicken, you're gonna freeze it, right, Christy? Nice. I have those coronary cluckers. Let's see. I drank three, two, 5.2 drinks last night. We make room for bad, just not every day. Well, yeah. Sure is today. We're headed to the meat and seafood counter at Whole Foods. My parents have, and with my parents have a protein extravaganza. Filmed 2 videos with my parents yesterday. Well, that's amazing. You're doing the big things. How close are you to 100,000? I need to look that up and see. I haven't looked at it. Last time I looked, I think you were 8,000 away. You are 2.4 thousand away, my friend. 2.4 thousand away. You'll probably hit 100,000 before I hit 5,000. I've been struggling to hit 5,000. I'm about 30 away. Electrolyte packets in my purse at all times. I don't carry any purse, but I don't go anywhere really either. So usually I'm going to have my electrolytes before I leave the house. Let's see. If you drink Element or salty, I kind of mix and choose because they all have different flavors. I have like 3 tubs of the perfect keto black cherry that I've acquired, and then I've got like 3 different flavors of Redmond's Relight. Chandra likes the liquid IV lemon lime, and now when you buy the lemon lime packets at Costco, it comes with the peach, and I like the peach. And sometimes I like the liquid IV just because it's a little bit less salty. It's like 500 milligrams of sodium versus the other ones that are 1,000. So it's just a little less salty if I'm not really craving that much salt. But then I also have Element. Most of the I have Element, but loose packets. I don't really have anything that I've really purchased in a while. A lot of things I have from Element just acquired over time. And then all the salty that I have, most of the salty that I have 2 full packs of the everything that's slated for a giveaway when we hit 5,000 subscribers. So be on the lookout for that. We'll make a video when we hit 5,000. Um, yeah. So I mean, we kind of choose all the different ones because they all have different flavors. Chris says, I'm stoked for 100,000. Dude, you're doing great. Congrats on being on the verge of 5,000. Well, thank you so much. Hopefully I hit there. I had a goal of 10,000 by the end of 2024, but I don't think that's going to be kind of a thing that happens unless things drastically change for the difference here. Maritza, good morning. Let's see. That first, I remember the first 100 was really difficult. Then 500 kind of came. And then I remember hitting 500, then trying to get 1,000. Then once I got to 1,000, I didn't really worry about it all that much. And then trying to get to 3,000, 4,000, and 5,000 is kind of a big milestone for me. And he says, bought myself a camera rig to film recipes in the kitchen. Can't wait to make some homemade food and put it on my channel. Well, that sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. Rick says, in 17 years on YouTube, I have yet to reach 3,000. No matter, there is absolutely no money on this, just a hobby. That's the thing is I make a little bit of money from YouTube, but not much. But it's a passion for me. Just started a yogurt batch in the Instant Pot. I call it yuckert because it's yucky. And he says, just finished my coffee and didn't realize it. Now it's gone. I haven't. I've been talking. I've been yapping, so I haven't really had a chance to drink it all yet. Off for the morning ruck with my dogs, but I'll be ear hustling. Well, thank you, Scott. I hope you enjoy the dogs, the walk with your puppers. Indeed. Have a good hike, Mr. Scott. I'm going to take a break here and have me some of this coffee because I really like it. Oh, but yeah. YouTube is a passion project. Rick says he's having a morning duck egg search. Is it like Star Search? Is Ed McMahon there? I mean, I thought about just taking the backpack and putting some heavy stuff in it and walking around with a backpack. And we just walk around with a heavy backpack. Could work, right? All right. So last week, on the topic of KPL, Autumn sent out the questionnaire for Keto Palooza, shirts, that kind of stuff. So if you are already registered or have purchased your ticket for KPL, check your email, check your spam folder, check the email address that you have signed up or purchased under, and keep in mind, like I said, check your spam folders, fill that out as quickly as you can, get that back to her. Yeah. You may see stars if Mama Duck gets mad. Marita says, I have my coffee with butter maybe 2 or 3 times a week. So we've been buying heavy cream from Sam's Club because the prices have gone up and it's over $5 for regular heavy cream at Walmart and Aldi, because I was kind of going back and forth and buying them between the two depending on where I was. And Sam's Club is $1 cheaper But the problem with Sam's Club is it's kind of goopy. Like you'll pour it and there'll be chunks. It's not bad. It's just got chunks in it for some reason. I don't know. That's my daily coffee after my walk, buttered an egg. I was talking with a lady about that, like because she's kind of like a 15-year vegan, and now she's kind of starting to integrate eggs and such into her diet and trying to work meat in, but she's still not quite there yet with a lot of the meat. She's still very timid when it comes to it. And I was like, if you're trying to get extra protein in and you don't want to use whatever in your coffee, blend an egg in there. She's like, raw. I'm like, well, I mean, it's hot. It's not gonna. I mean, it's gonna kind of cook it, but you know. Um. Oh, I would say they're good past that. And if you're ever questioning, there's a thing where you can just put them in water. I think if they float, they're not good, and if they sink, they're okay. Right? Is that what I'm thinking about? Let's see. Water test, also known as float test, is a simple way to tell if egg is fresh. Fill a glass or bowl with about 4 inches of cold water. Gently place the egg in the water. Observe what happens to the egg. Sinks and lies on its side. The egg is very fresh. Sinks but stands on its end. The egg is a few weeks old but still edible, though it should be eaten soon or hard boiled. Floats. The egg is no longer fresh and should be discarded. Stoked for KPO. Just got my registration done for Ash and I a couple days ago. Yes. I'm super stoked. I cannot wait. Let's see. Upping the rucksack from 30 to 40 pounds a day. We'll see how it goes. And you walk for like 4 miles, right? Matt says, yes, that's correct. Float is bad, sink is good. We go through ours so quickly, and I don't really have an expiration date on our eggs because I buy the cardboard carton and then I remove them from that and put them into smaller 2 dozen clear containers, like the clear containers that hold 2 dozen. And I usually buy, depending, 5 to 10 dozen at a time, depending on price. Like I need to go to the store because I have 2 dozen left. That's kind of like alarm bells are going off. Mm. But yeah, we don't usually have our eggs long enough to really worry about it. And the expiration date on the outside of the package is more of a sell by date, so I would not really worry about that. Just pull one out, drop in some cold water. If it floats, test a few more, and if they all float, then toss it. But otherwise, I think they'll probably be okay. Thank you. Usually go through mine fast too, but I bought way too many. That's like sometimes if I feel like if I have like 13 dozen in the fridge, I'm like, but we usually still because I mean, realistically, when I eat eggs, I'm eating at least 8. Our granddaughter has been eating 2 to 3 eggs a day, and Chandler eats about 3 to 4 eggs a day. So we go through them relatively quick. And like I see people buying a dozen, and I'm like, oh, that's scary. Because running out of eggs, I will go to the store if I get too low. Like, I don't want to go to the store today, but I'll have. I mean, we've only got 2 dozen, so I mean, I probably should go to the store today, but I don't know if I really feel like it. I mean, I bought 10 dozen. I bought 10 pounds of hot dogs yesterday. Yeah. How much was that? Let me see. Oh, did I put the right button? No, this one. I spent $16.45 for 10 pounds of hot dogs. Oscar Mayer Wiener. Andy says she buys local eggs and they're gone within 2 weeks. What do you? What's the number you go through in 2 weeks? Because we'll usually go through about 10 dozen within about 2 weeks. I mean, not to mention if I'm making stuff, experimenting, chaffles, egg bread, or egg loaf, or cottage cheese flatbread or whatever. I've tried that. It's not. I'm not even gonna make a video on it. I just. I mean, it just isn't. I've tried it a couple different ways. I did not. Yeah. It's not my thing for me. Wes just put out a video, and that his video is pretty good. So if you want to check out a video on the flatbread, on the cottage cheese flatbread, two different styles, Wes over at Highfalutin Low Carb just dropped one. Let's see. I remember those commercials with the kids spelling Oscar Mayer, Oscar. Yeah, 3 dozen at a time. That's scary. My baloney has a first name. Yes. I still like bologna from time to time, and I know that's dirty, and I mean, but I'll buy Eckrich. There's just something about like stuff from when I was a kid. Like I know when I was a kid, like I used to love. I was never really a fan of white bread. I always liked wheat bread. I like the crust on it better, which is not a kid thing because most kids don't even like the crust on the bread. But I'll eat my sandwiches backwards and eat like the top crust last. I don't know. I'm a weirdo. But sometimes I'll just go buy a package of bologna. I think they're like less than $3 for a 14-ounce or 12-ounce package of bologna. And then I'll get a loaf of keto bread, like wheat bread or whatever. Usually we have some in the house because the girl likes her little egg sandwiches. And if I don't have it, she gets upset. Let's see. When my mom gave me a bologna sandwich, I would eat the cheese and bologna and save the bread for the ducks. So you're like telling us your like evil duck villain origin story. Or maybe a hero. I don't know. Duckman. Let's see. I intermittent fast, so I only eating one meal a day and sometimes eat steak instead of eggs. Yeah. Let's see. Dustin, you'll have to try our brown bread. Came up with that when you said you didn't like rye on Cindy's live. Let's see. Yeah, rye bread. I've just never really just I don't know what it is. It's just not good for me. Um, I like wheat bread though. And I don't even have like all the stuff. Like I've never made any of like the protein breads or anything like the egg white bread. I've never made any of that stuff. I just I don't know if I just haven't. I like chaffles. Let's see. I don't use whole eggs to make egg white bread. I use the carton of egg whites. My oatmeal. Wait, where did it go? My oatmeal also went to the ducks. I dehydrate eggs, whole eggs, egg whites, and then salt egg yolks to sprinkle on food like Parmesan cheese after grating them. Like to she likes to water glass eggs for the winter time as well. Can you make your own egg white powder? Because it's so expensive. Evelyn says, I try to keep at least 7 dozen eggs in the fridge. We had a great sale on eggs at Kroger where my daughter works. With her discount, they were $1.35 a dozen, so we bought 5. I mean, I don't even really care what egg prices are because we eat so many, we don't even really wait for sales. I have bought I have bought better eggs than I normally do when they're on sale. Like one time we were at Costco and they had their brown cage free eggs or whatever they were cheaper than their regular white eggs. And I know brown eggs come from brown chickens, and I've made videos on that. And it drives me nuts why brown eggs are more expensive, but whatever. Um, but yeah, I bought those. I've got a whole like top of our refrigerators full of cartons, the plastic cartons. I've tried to whittle away like styrofoam ones, but you know, my daughter's allergic to beef, so we buy turkey and chicken hot dogs. That's tragic. Oh, I don't even know what I would do with myself if I became allergic to beef. Oh my goodness, I don't know what I would do. This guy right here? Let's get dangerous. Who doesn't love Darkwing Duck? I don't know. I don't have any way to do it. I don't have a mixer or anything like that. And I've looked at them and just I just it hasn't been a priority for us yet. Good morning, Brian. On a getaway in Charleston this morning. Well, that's awesome. Quackula. I want to meet Darkwing Duck. Let's see. Yep, I make it. It's a lot cheaper. I know it's fresh butt nuggets from our coop or friends' chickens. What's so like? What would be the like? 'Cause I don't know how much is egg white powder. Like, how much is how? Like, what would be the cost from you? Let's see. Carl says, I only like rye with some traditional sandwiches like Reuben's, roast beef, and Swiss. Fun fact: there is mold that can grow on rye stalks that makes you crazy. Yeah, that's what they think happened during during like the witch trials. Like that whole thing that happened with all the witch trials and stuff in Salem is that all the wheat that they had grown and turned into bread and everything all had that mold. And yeah, it made them all crazy. They were all seeing stuff and they were all like, the witches. And it was really just hallucinogenic wheat or rye. So that's a theory that they've come up that they think is a thing. So I haven't had beef in a while, but every so now and I buy bison for hamburgers. Bison, I've had bison one time that tasted like I was eating steak. It was good, man. But I forget where I bought it from. And he says, I prefer Daisy or Donald. Yes, my dear. Yes, my dear. Sean says he's one of the characters I look for every time we go to Disney. I want to meet Kevin at Animal Kingdom. I want to meet Kevin, and I'll tell you, we've seen like the walking stick lady while we were there. There's just something about her that's like completely mesmerizing and terrifying at the same time. And I remember when we went in 2015, our youngest was like he was 10 turning 11. And we ran into Jasmine at Magic Kingdom. And he saw her and he was like dumbstruck. He couldn't even talk. He thought she was so beautiful. He was just like, I'm like, she was gorgeous, but I was like, he's like 10. He's like, like a deer in headlights. Yeah, ergot. Yeah, the origins of LSD. Yeah, they think that was what really caused that whole Salem witch thing to go down. And Rick says, neighbor tried to help a duckling and mama duck attacked her here and she hurt her back when she fell. Oh. Karen says, good thing we don't use rye in our faux rye bread. Costco does have bison. I think I bought it from Walmart, and Walmart's bison was really good. But I can't remember. I haven't bought it much. I got a bunch of different stuff in our freezer. It just gets so overloaded I forget what's in there. Matt, I saw a video that Sarah posted. So funny. His how happy they are puts a smile on my face every time. Let's see. Yeah, no, no being accused of demon possession. Yeah, yeah, yeah. My daughter is allergic to hot dogs. She will eat more burgers than bratwurst. I mean, subbing brats for hot dogs. It ain't bad. Yeah, I just love like I love cheap hot dogs. Like even Oscar Mayer are kind of bougie hot dogs for me. Like it's hard for me to justify spending the money on like all beef hot dogs when I prefer the cheaper hot dogs. Like I will buy sometimes the cheap GFS jumbo dogs, the real pale ones. I don't know, there's just something about cheap, like, I grew up on, like, Bar S hot dogs and Cons and or whatever was cheap when I was a kid, like Kroger brand or because Walmart really wasn't a thing when I was a kid. Walmart grocery wasn't a thing because we would have to go all the way across town to go to the Walmart when it first opened up, but they didn't even have a grocery at the time. They sold, like, candy and stuff like that, but they didn't sell food. They had chips and stuff, I think, but, Rick said, "The last time I was at Disney, they were building Space Mountain. I was the one of the few kids who thought Disney was boring, especially waiting in line for 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea." That's not been there since I've been alive, I don't think. I mean, I was born in 79, it opened in 71, so I can't remember when 20,000 Leagues closed. I think it was in the 90s, but I don't know. I'm a huge Disney fan. Either you love it or you don't. We're Disney adults. We don't even need kids to go. Shannon and I just go. There's just something cool about like being able to see fireworks every night, having basically limitless restaurants, places to sit out on the water and watch fireworks, watch sunsets, just be away from the run of the from everyday life because you can just be away. It is kind of like just it's like total escapism. And I understand that it's not for everybody. And I'm glad it's not for everybody because if everybody wanted to go, it would cost 10 times more than it already does. Let's see. Ergot and King James, he was in charge of Nationwide Witch Hunt. Stacy says that they bought bison at the farmer's market Thursday evening. Delicious. I've been wanting to buy elk, but like ground elk, I can find it's mixed with beef. And I'm like, I'm not spending the premium for the elk if it's mixed with beef. And I haven't really gone, that far away to that deep to find elk. I know I should probably hunt my own, but that's expensive proposition of itself. If you ever had to clean up puke from cheap hot dogs, you wouldn't love what you know what? I have to pick up puke from all kinds of stuff. Cat's puke, kid puke, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm sure I puked up hot dogs when I was a kid too. Carl's like, I love Bar S. I love that's what I would always buy. We make mixed turkey, chicken, and pork and make our hamburgers. All right. We used to have Kmart foods. I remember Kmart having like a concession stand, and they had like the big text. What would be like the Texas home fries? It'd be like this big, like the fries that were this big, and like like basically just potato wedges. And they had corn dogs and popcorn, and I remember like almost every store had that. Like I think Target still had that. Target some kind of still do, but I think most of them have switched over to just having a Starbucks inside. I don't remember if Kroger had that or not. I think they did. I mean, Walmart has the kind of concession stand thing now, but it's over with a deli, and they have corn dogs and chicken poppers and stuff like that, but not quite the same. Rick says, I had more fun at the dump than Disney. Well, Rick, I don't know how much we're going to hang out because your day sounds awful. I don't mean anything by that. I'd much rather go to Disney than the dump. I'm leaving for Disneyland in 3 days with my bestie. I want to go to Disneyland so bad. Wow, back when Kmart had foods, that takes me back. Yeah. The double K burgers. I mean, my mom used to work at a place here in the mall. I don't know if it was worked at Murphy's in the Lafayette Square Mall. Obviously, prior to me being a person. And she met my father there. He was a short order cook. They had like a diner in the back. And that's where she met him. And that's where I came from. So, yes, Shelly, don't mind me being upset and crying that you're not taking me to Disneyland. I understand. I totally understand. Matt says, I told Daisy that Donald blew kisses at Sarah. Then I told Donald what I told Daisy, and he got upset about that. Oh, Hills had a snack concessions. It was a treat. Okay, so something that Shandor and I have been talking about, bring up every once in a while. Everybody knows at Christmas time that Hills had that little Hills is where the toys are. It sounded like it was very horror movie esque, like Hills is where the toys are. Yeah. I remember going to Hills when I was a kid, and they would have these, like, dioramas set up, like, with He-Man and things, and I was like, "Oh," they're, like, on the end caps of the toy aisle and stuff, and they would have, like, sand and the He-Man standing up and fighting poses. Just gotta take up hunting for your elk and venison. I'm not a big venison fan. I'd rather have elk, but I've never had elk, but I can't afford to get into hunting enough to go get elk because it's not a cheap. I mean, 1, you gotta buy the method in which to hunt it, like bow or whatever. And then you got to get good at a bow. And then you're going to fly out somewhere where they have elk to hunt because we don't have elk here in central Indiana. And then you're going to like pay for them to clean it and process it and then ship it to you. Yeah. Let's see. Even Burdines and Jordan Marsh had restaurants inside when I was a kid. Some Walgreens and even WT Grants had a diner. Yeah, they were just more of a thing. There wasn't as many fast food restaurants. I'd be down to try bear. I've had deer. I hear bear, like black bear, I hear is pretty good. Yeah, I remember like most places had like some kind of place to get food. It just was there wasn't as many fast food or like sit down restaurants. I don't think as there seems to be there are as now. Like there's so many restaurants now. Um, Even still, like with all those restaurants, there's nowhere to go to eat. I mean, we basically go the same couple different ones. We had a McDonald's with 29-cent burgers and golden arches on the building. We have a McDonald's here in town on the other side of town that is kind of like it kind of looks like the old McDonald's. It's got the arches on the side or whatever the building, but I don't think it's not original. Triple B squad in the house. Good morning, Bob. How are you doing, sir? You out for your walk? We had places we had places like that here. My mom and my aunt, or my mom and my great aunt would go to all the smorgasbords and they were both bigger people too. So it was like that was kind of my first foray into that. Like we would go and eat. I don't remember eating there, but I remember going there. Does that make sense? I don't actually remember eating the food. Yes. Oh, itchy today. Oh, goodness. Let's see. We have a few jars of moose left that we canned after our 2021 trip to Alaska. My family blessed us with a cooler full. Need to go visit again soon. Yeah. Moose. Like I will not repeat that. If you saw it, you saw it. If you didn't, you didn't. Too bad. I would love the roast beef and Swedish meatballs, but my parents forced me to eat salads. Yuck. I remember going to remember we would go to Ponderosa Steakhouse and we would get like the buffet. And then like I remember my mom and grandma always cooked all the meat to death. Like it was all like they cooked it well done, like super well done. Everything had to be super well done. So I never realized that meat had juice. And I remember one time I ordered a steak at Ponderosa. I don't know how old I was, 10, 11, 12, something like that. And I remember getting a steak, cutting into it, and it was pink on the inside. I took a bite, and my grandma flipped out. Like, you can't eat that. It's not done. I'm like, wait, this is juicy and delicious. You've been giving me shoe leather this whole time. What is going on? Maritza says, in Texas, where I grew up, we hunted everything and ate all types of animals, whatever was in season. Oh, yeah. We had a Bonanza Steakhouse and later Sizzler. I wanted to go last. In 2015, when we were down in Orlando or Kissimmee area, there was a Sizzler, and I wanted to go so bad, but Shannon was like, "I'm not going to Sizzler." Rude. There was a ranch house down the street. Matt says we always had our meat medium well or well done. I would never. No, 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 no. I cook all the meat in my house extra rare. If you don't like it, you can put it in the microwave. And really, because I cook a lot of meat, I'll cook steaks in bulk a lot, and a lot of times it's for Chandra's blunches. So I'll cook them a little more rare, and then I'll cut them up, put them in a bag, put them in her lunch bag, and off she goes. And that way, when she does put them in the microwave to warm them up, they don't get overdone and tough and all that stuff. So they're like less rare for her. My parents cooked meat until it turned into hockey. That's what they did too. Like grill, like I mean, at least hot dogs had some semblance of flavor, but like all the hamburgers were super dry. I never knew that there was a difference. Carl's mom always cooked meat that way. Dad liked it medium rare. He had to wait until we were out to eat to get a good steak. I don't even think we ever had steaks too much when I was a kid, but I just remember no matter what it was, chicken, burger, beef, pork, it was always cooked to death. I was a kid who grossed people out eating raw meat. I'll eat raw meat now. Like I'll cut meat apart and I'll eat little bits and pieces here and there. I prefer steamed burgers. I had them here at Lum's. I will steam a burger from time to time. I'll steam them in onion and like pickle and then put cheese on them and then basically have my own White Castles without a bun. Sean says, my mom used to freak out whenever I ate my steak medium rare. She wouldn't be able to eat hers until I was done eating. She liked eating shoe. That's like my aunt. My aunt's like, if it's any side of pink, she'll send it back. And I'm like, whenever you order at a restaurant, well done, they're going to give you the most freeze dried, grossest steak they have because they're going to be able to get away with it because by the time they're done cooking it, there's nothing left. I don't understand. Like, I would rather, like, I remember ordering a rare steak in Las Vegas, and it was a thick sirloin. It was like that thick. And I remember cutting it open, and it was like the epitome of blue rare. It was like blue on the inside. I was like, oh, I love that. We went to Ellis Island back when they had the $5.99 steak dinner. I think it's probably $10 now, but this was like 2006, so like 20 years ago, almost 20, like 18 years ago, when the first time we went to Las Vegas and we went to Ellis Island and yeah, chicken soup, like like a chicken potato soup or something like that with bread and oh, it was awesome. Lum's hot dogs steamed in beer. Oh, I used to buy bratwurst and I would cut up a bunch of onions and like I'd get like a six pack of whatever, like Budweiser or whatever, didn't matter really the brand of beer. And I would boil my bratwurst in that. And then I would pour the hot juice, like the hot that beer into like a pan and put all my bratwursts in there and keep them in there. So you just go and get them. They would just soak up the beer. E Stacy says, growing up in Alaska, we ate wild game and fish. Didn't have a restaurant around us, like all day drive to get to Anchorage then. Wow. That's crazy. Well done steak, like suck all the moisture out of your mouth. Yeah. Like and I mean like even now, like if I get like a if I overcook a steak by accident, and I can get it like just medium, and I'm like I get sad and I'll eat it, but oh. But I like it rare, rare, rare. Oh my goodness. Stacy, when growing up, was your meat cooked well done? I imagine there's certain types of meat when you're kind of like wild boar. It's got to be well done. You don't want to get trichinosis. Andy says, Susan just woke up, so we're going to watch some Olympic coverage. Have a great day, everyone. Well, Andy, tell Susan we say hello. Tell her that we care for her very much. Give her some hugs from us. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day and enjoy watching the Olympics, okay? Bye. Chris says, halfway through my first coffee, I'm finally feeling alive again. Yes, here's to you, Chris. I have started a new routine where I wake up in the morning and I have an electrolyte drink before I have my coffee, and I usually sit down and relax a little bit before I start my coffee. Just kind of like wake up naturally with the electrolytes and then have my coffee. It still hits just right, but I feel that it's better throughout the day for me. When I eat dumpster meat, I generally boil it. I know you're not kidding. Whew, boil it. I don't understand boiling meat. I get it, but I don't get it. I don't know. There's better ways to. There's more flavorful ways. Mm. I feel so alive for the very first time. I remember when they used to play here early on in the day. I didn't really get a chance to see them play, but they'd play like little churches and stuff back when they were still called Payable on Death. But I saw POD live a bunch. They went on tour with Stained, and we saw them a bunch. I think it was Stained. It was like POD. It was like saw them like two different times. I saw them in Chicago at the House of Blues, or maybe it was the Riviera. I can't remember, but I know we saw them here too. First coffee with keto brains and daily minerals has gone on to the next. Yes, to the next episode. We ate even some of it raw, just shaved frozen off the block. No wild boar to worry about in Alaska. Well, I'm just saying, like, I don't know, like, if you would want to, like, I imagine black bear, if you're getting black bear or brown bear, you'd probably want to cook that pretty done to avoid trichinosis as well, right? I mean, I'm not really totally pretty versed about whatever. When you are poor and desperate, you have to be creative. Same with roadkill. Good luck, Rick. Like when I think of like bands like POD and stuff, I start thinking about like Head PE and they're touring again, which is weird. A lot of these nostalgia bands are touring again, and I'm like, like the Wheatus band, the Teenage Dirtbag band is playing again. They're touring. Yeah. I have got the girl into the Clutch song, and I'll put it here. This is the title of the song. It's 10001111 10101. This is the name of the song. So just in case you want to know and find the song that I'm talking about, it's a band called Clutch, and that's the name of the song. 100011100101. There's a law they passed in Virginia that you are able to pick up roadkill. I don't know. Some bear and even halibut you didn't let thaw on the countertop, or you'd see the word gross. I do not speak binary, and that is unfortunately nothing. I've tried searching it in binary, but I don't think it means anything. I think they just wrote it and to fit the song. It's a very non sequitur song. Like all the lyrics don't make sense because it's like, yeah, it's my alarm. So I hear it every morning when my alarm goes off, whether it's the morning or the afternoon. That's the song that it plays. And remember that I have seen Clutch 26 times. They're one of my favorite bands of all time. But yeah. I do not know. Oh. I wish that YouTube was a little more friendly with music and being able to play music, because that would be fun, like, just, like, stuff that gets stuck in my head or whatever, like, with what Sean said, the POD, the Alive song. Yeah, it would be cool to be able to do that, but it would shut the stream down. She says, "That was me with Melissa Etheridge." Everybody has everybody has their thing. Everybody has the one that they like the most. Like, I love seeing Deftones live, Black Dahlia Murder live. I started liking Cattle Decapitation. They're really fun live. There's some bands that I've seen live that I've only seen once. Like I saw this band called Oh Sleeper. Um, and we saw him at a super small club here in Indy. And like he was like a super small club and it was packed. And my buddy, thoughts go out to him. He had surgery on Friday. He had like a brain tumor. So he actually worked with the singer for Oh Sleeper and put out an EP called The Vile Ones, which is very similar to Oh Sleeper. And The Vile Ones, that EP is so good. Anything my buddy Randy touches, music wise, is so amazing. He was in the band Scarlet. They were on Ferret Records back in the early to mid 2000s. So if you're familiar with the band Scarlet, they had two really really good records. Then he went on and he did in a band called Coworker, These City Limits. He has a band called something something Red. I can't remember. And the Vile Ones. It's all very different music too from each other. So yeah. Um, well, go and find some new ones. Rick's like every band I like is dead. Well, go find some new ones. There's new ones coming out every day. Um, Sean says going to see Shine. I've never gotten to Shine Down. I'm not a big fan of that style of music. That to me, it always just seems so very generic. And I understand that they have a wide appeal, but I don't know. That just never clicked with me. Jeremiah in the house. How are you doing, sir? But I remember seeing Oh Sleeper at the small club. If you're familiar with Indiana history, it was a small club called the Hoosier Dome, which we used to actually have a stadium called the Hoosier Dome. And they tore that down, and when they tore that down, they opened a small little club up on the east side of town called the Hoosier Dome, holds like 100 people, and it was packed tight. And he was like, and the singer's holding on to like this rafter, and he's got the mic in his hand, and he's like, "Come get the mic, it's your mic," and these people were crawling over each other. It was amazing. Just I love the energy. There might be, very might be. I mean, there's plenty. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff out there to listen to. I've been to the Beatles Museum and walked down Abbey Road. But have you been like Rick Beato and got a chance to tour Abbey Road Studios? I want to do that. But it did not look anything like I thought it would look like inside. Like, I don't know, when you're listening to like, especially like Dark Side of the Moon was recorded there, and you think about like they're recording that, it's got to be dark in there and brooding and moody and stuff. And then like you see it, it's all bright and bricky, and you're like, that's weird. Jeremiah just woke up. Well, I'm glad you made it. Stacey says, I've only been to 3 concerts in my life: Elvis, Kenny Rogers, and Danny Goki. Well, I know 2 out of 3 ain't bad, right? Elvis. Let's see. He wanted to see. I've seen Lamb of God a few times. Not my favorite. I'm trying to think who I've got coming up. I want to see Power Glove. I really want to see Power Glove. I'm trying to see what I've got on my calendar here. I'm gonna look at my calendar here to see when. Don't forget. August the 6th. If you are able to make it, we are doing the state fair, $2 Tuesday at noon Eastern time. Ooh, August 13th is mine and Chandra's anniversary. Has to be on the calendar because we would totally forget. Maybe I don't have a concert in August. I think maybe in September then. Let's see. Oh, yeah. I do have a concert on Monday, September the 9th. And I can hear that it's raining. Hallelujah. Let's see what's going on here. The Beatles are one group I never liked. So you're one of those, Rick. I didn't like the Beatles. Everyone loves the Beatles. Or at least you have to. I think everybody should appreciate the Beatles because they changed what is considered contemporary music. Beach Boys were more my thing. I understand that. Bermuda, Bahama, come on, pretty mama. Let's see. Finished my morning ruck, 40 pounds, and the pack kicked my buns. I bet it did. Never heard of Nothing More, but I hope you have a good time in September. I don't know what all that means. I wish that Junior Brown was still around. I'm not sure who that is either. Winter Jam. I know I've heard of Skillet, but I don't know what they are. I'm not. I mean, I don't. I don't. I don't. I mean, I'm seeing a band in September called Goat Whore. They're from New Orleans. They're amazing. I love them. They're so good. And I want to see. I want to see the Black Dahlia Murder. They're coming here. They're coming here with Dying Fetus and I want to see Power Glove. They're like this instrumental video game music. They take video game songs and make them metal. Like if you haven't had a chance, look up Power Glove Tetris. Oh, so good. Evelyn, I don't even know what you speak of. Yeah, Ken's the best. Yeah, it's raining here too. We should have got to you first. My uncle used to sing Beatles songs to us when we were going to bed. He really got me into them. My mom loved the Beatles. George Harrison, all of it. I had a supervisor that saw the Beatles years like she saw them. She when they played in Indianapolis, they played the Pepsi Coliseum. She won tickets to the radio to go see them. She says you couldn't hear the Beatles. That's one reason why they didn't tour very much at that after that because the technology, the tour technology, the speaker technology wasn't good enough to you couldn't hear them over the screaming. Like girls were screaming louder than the music. So all you could hear was girls screaming and the smell of pee. Because the girls would be like, ah, and then pee. I don't know. That's what she said. I wasn't there. I wasn't alive. Oh, I see. They just look like guys. I don't know. Let's see. I grew up in a mega church in Chicagoland area. Lots of Christian bands that I helped load in and out. My brother said official druggage. Mm. Our forecast is crappy with rain this week. I never get to go out and pick any more tomatoes or this morning cucumbers. When I lived in Arlington, I got to see Ozzy Osbourne, Nine Inch Nails, and Corn. I've seen Ozzy, Nine Inch Nails, and Corn all separately. Um, Only seen Nine Inch Nails once. Seen Corn a few times. I saw them in '98 and '99, and then maybe 2000. Nine Inch Nails just the one time. I think I saw them in 2000. It was like it was the when they released the double record, that tour, and they the Perfect Circle opened up for them. So that was awesome seeing a Perfect Circle. I love live music, but I'm an amps in the face type guy. I'm like gotta be up right up front and watching them. And I like heavier music. I think every era has had some really great music. I'm a music fanatic, so I love so much different stuff. Um, but I mean, I can totally get into 50 stuff, 60 stuff, 70s. Love the 80s, the 90s. 90s is what I really hit home with me. Then 2000s. I'm always finding new bands. I'm always looking for new stuff. But yeah, if you guys haven't had a chance, check out the band Gojira. They did an opening song at the Olympics this year. They played basically on window structures of an old prison. So that was pretty awesome. But with that, I want to go ahead and get out of here, get you guys ready to head over and hang out with the Weathers this morning. Autumn and Richard. And I want to say thank you to everyone for being here. It truly means the world to me. Thank you for the support. Thank you for being members. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. I love you so very much. Thank you for another wonderful Sunday. I look forward to these days when I can have coffee and talk with all you wonderful people. I truly, truly, truly mean that from the bottom of my heart. And with that, have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Go over and enjoy hanging out with the Weathers for about a half an hour. And with that, Shannon and I will see you on Tuesday. And